Welcome to Scorched Earth and a general reading for the sign of Capricorn, Sun, Moon or Ascendant for Leo season, or July, August 2026, whatever you prefer. I'm here for it, and I'm here for you, Capricorn. I hope you are well. I'm using my Bulgarian 777 deck for you today. Before we begin, a little bit of housekeeping. If the reading resonates with you and you would like to go a little bit deeper, there will be an extended that you can access at the end. That's via links in the description box below. The first link takes you to Selfie if you just want the standalone extended for this reading. If, however, you would like access to more of the extended content that I produce, which is a significant amount, then you might consider coming to join my private community on the Circle platform. There you can access all of the extendeds for all of the signs every month. There's also the weekly energy readings, which are anything from 45 minutes up, depending on how intense the energies are. You can participate in the Deccan Walk, which has proven to be nothing short of life-changing for pretty much everybody involved. We're tracking the sun through each 10-degree movement in the sky, and if you've ever wondered about the crossover between astrology and tarot, the Deccan Walk is it. If you join at the higher tier, you can come participate in the live classes that we run over there in all sorts of modalities and get access to all the recordings of all the past classes that we've done, and there's a free trial, a 7-day free trial. So come have a look. If you like it, stay. Right, Capricorn, let's flip the camera around here, press the button properly, and have a little chat about what we're actually going to be doing here today. We're going to start off with the first most important question you can ask yourself in 2026, and that is, where am I right now? Speaking specifically to the Capricorn ascendants amongst you, the combination of a Mercury retrograde in Cancer activating that I versus we and relating dynamic, followed by furious activity in your 8th house. Like, it's a lot. I just want to say it's a lot. Obviously, if you're not a Capricorn ascendant, that's not going to apply to you, but I just, for the ascendants, I just want to say I see you. Yes, not where we're going to be in a year, 5 years, 10 years from now, but like, where are we right now in the aftermath of that and the continued noodling of our 8th house that's going on right now, or otherwise. And inspired by the Deccan Walk, we're going to have a look and see what it is that we're actually struggling with this season, and how we can essentially embody our way through it. It sounds a bit odd, but I really do feel like the key to this year is about embodiment. So if you've got some insights into ways that your mind has been working that you're not really down with anymore, let's get that behavior now in alignment with what you actually think and what you actually feel, right? That's the key to authenticity. That is the path to an authentic and sovereign life. So from there, we'll finish up with the second most important question you can ask yourself in 2026, and that is, what is my next step? That's it. That's all we need to know. So hopefully this is all right for you. This is what I have in the extended. We will expand upon all of these themes. So let's have a look and see where Capricorn is right now, please. First card out is the Wheel of Fortune. Interesting. Starting to heat up in my little room here. We have the Devil and we have the Star. I like that. Actually, it was probably better that way around, doesn't it? It doesn't really matter which way around it comes out. I like it, but for you specifically anyway. One more card for Capricorn, please. Right, Knight of Pentacles. This feels like a major rewind. Is there a better way to put it? It's King of Wands at the bottom of the deck there. Leo energy. It feels like you've slammed pause pretty hard, and you're now rewinding and going, no, I need to do this differently. And I need to reorder, restructure and redo in a way that is in alignment with who I am. Even let's use that word, embodying, so that we can embody what you are rather than hiding behind something else. Like, the rewind is really, really strong. Now, obviously, the wheel turns all the time, but it's this card here that makes me feel like the tried, tested and true way that you have always done things. It's almost like a bolt from the blue. It's hit you. It cannot continue like this. Now, the Knight of Pentacles is not reversed. It's not like you completely slammed on the anchors, as my partner would say, and decided that you're going to, you know, do anything other than what is tried, tested, and true. But it does feel like you slowed down dramatically and you are trying to allow some things to percolate here. And being quite comfortable in not moving forwards while you're doing it. This King of Wands at the bottom of the deck seems to be speaking much more to the idea that you would like to move purposefully in a direction that feels correct, and take slow movements to that if necessary, rather than doing things the way that you've always done them, and trying to forge a path through that onwards. Because these three major arcana cards here are really, really significant for you. I mean, whenever the devil comes up for Capricorn, I feel like it has a different kind of flavor to when it comes up for the other signs, because it is the only card that represents Capricorn in the major arcana. But when cards come up that represent signs that I'm reading for, generally there is some aspect of identity that is in the mix, that is proving to be a little bit fluid, that is changing, that is evolving. And we've kind of got to give it time to do that, I think, because this Wheel of Fortune and star combination that you've got going on here is a strong reorientation. It's not a tower-like reorientation, which I find to be quite interesting. But at the same time, I do think since about December 2024, Capricorn has been kind of fielding more than their fair share of towers. It was quite significant that December. I remember thinking at the time that there was definitely something extraordinary going on. And that's from my outside perspective. It may well not have felt like something Wheel of Fortune and Jupiter-esque at the time that was happening, but that started a process which has brought you to where you are right now, and now things are starting to look different. This is a fundamental shift in who you are. And like I said, it's not a tower-like reorientation. It is a destiny-like reorientation. Because there's something about your hopes, dreams, goals, aspirations that you are wanting to bring into concrete reality, which is absolutely fascinating, and probably what we would expect for your ruling planet to be in a cardinal fire sign, right? But also, additionally, sat there with Neptune. You know, Neptune distorts, Neptune dissolves, but Neptune also gives us a kind of, what's the word that we would look for? Sorry, I'm starting to get warm. I might start wafting myself with a card, actually. It's kind of inspired from somewhere higher to do something considerably different with our lives than what we thought we wanted. Now that as a theme has been coming up for Capricorn for quite a long time, right? Your whole value system, your core beliefs, your understanding of yourself and your beliefs around your own self-worth and your own value and all those kind of things, like these have definitely been up for review over this period between December 2024 and now. We might even say November, actually, because Pluto moved into Aquarius and out of Capricorn. I think it was November 24. So then the first reading that I did after that was definitely a wow, what's going on here? It's like a Plutonian revision in the best sense of the word, in so much as, right, first what Pluto will do is cast you into the underworld and have you, you know, trying to find your way through there before you re-emerge at the surface. And we must not ever think that the work then is done just simply because we've re-emerged into the light. It's like, no, now something has to be constructed. Something has to come off the back of what has dissolved. And with so much dissolution around you, Capricorn, like you could choose to interpret that as loss, and I don't think that you are doing, although some of it might sting a little bit. But instead, reframe this as a dissolving of all of those things that weren't real to make space for what is real in Capricorn to come through. And it would make sense that you would be reaching for the stars in terms of a new kind of alignment for you. That isn't you getting to the top of your game in whatever it is that you're doing, right? It's not about reinforcing that view of yourself that you have, that it's all about what you achieve and not about who you are. And start creating a new reality that definitely is riffing off that as a concept, instead of, like I said, the achievement and the status and the all of the other things that would usually go there. Now, to some extent, for some of you, it may simply be, well, there's no simply about it, right? But it may be something like, I require a little bit more balance in the area of work-life balance. I have realized it is possible for me to have a life as well as do things. But I feel for most of you, it is that significant a reorientation, that it is more about totally overhauling the way that you live. Like, the ways that you've done it before didn't work. You might have fallen into a bit of a funk about that, but nothing really keeps Capricorn down for long. There's a new kind of structure that you're thinking your way around, feeling your way around. And I think it's coming to a point where it's almost ready to start coming into reality. Again, King of Wands there is very action oriented, but he's also very patient. It's something that doesn't really get mentioned that much about the King of Wands. The impatient, the running around, the action for the sake of moving is very much the energy of the Knight of Wands. But once we hit that maturation point with the King of Wands, it becomes much more about striking when the iron is hot. It's about making the right movement at the right time, because time and experience has taught the King of Wands not to waste energy. Maybe time and experience have delivered the same message to you, just in a different kind of way. I think that's possibly the case. Let's have a look. It is the Deviant Moon that I've got to clarify here. Let's see what the Wheel of Fortune is doing here, because I think I understand everything else. And although, the meaning of the Wheel of Fortune is quite clear in terms of, moving you towards a destined point, I do feel like there's something else going on here that I would like to investigate. Sorry if I was looking rather distracted there. There was some duck ruckus going on outside. Interesting. I've got some big Muscovy ducks, and they're not gentlemen, let's put it that way, with the female ducks. Anyway, so here, look at this. I mean, this feels like a strong supportive energy in the whole process of reorientation, Capricorn, because we've got the Five of Pentacles, and we're starting to see how much of your life has been ordered around the avoidance of the Five of Pentacles. I mean, so for some of you, this may be, actually very literal. It may have been that you grew up extremely poor and you decided that as an adult you weren't going to do that, right? And that the kind of corresponding instability around the home, maybe instability around the parental figures who are worried and stressed about money and all that kind of thing, and you're like, well, I'm gonna make sure I don't have that experience again because it's under my control to do so. But equally for others of you, it may be more of a, well, it's relatively abstract compared to the example that I just gave, but where there has been a poverty of emotion, or a poverty of care, or a poverty of even just fucking acknowledgement for some of you as children. Children tune into very, very quickly what it is that garners their parents' attention. And maybe for you, it was being extraordinarily good at your schoolwork, at your educational stuff, right? And that being an energy that you then took into the workplace. It's like, you have to be the best, otherwise mummy's not going to look at you. Now that's kind of reductive to put it like that, but interestingly, that the first 6 years of our lives that we seem to play out over and over again, And sometimes what it is that we're repeating is exactly that, childish, right? It is for everyone. We've all got a point in ourselves where we think we've clued into something about the way that the world works, and then we just repeat that pattern over and over again. Now, I think there is a higher level of understanding that you have developed, Capricorn, that sees your origin story for what it is, and also recognizes that everything that was built off the back of that was good, well done, we achieved, it's excellent. And notwithstanding any kind of depressive slumps that you might have had over the last 18 months, and honestly, if you have, I wouldn't blame you, because this is, this is difficult stuff that you've been dealing with here. I do feel like you've reached this point of re-emergence where you're like, okay, well, I'm just going to do it different. I'm going to do it differently, and I'm going to do the things that I enjoy instead. I'm going to look for a life that has meaning, or look to create a life that has meaning, rather than a life that is a repetition of a cycle of me being, 0 to 6 years old that I'm just repeating over and over again, albeit with, higher stakes, I guess. Oh, there's nothing higher stakes to a child than the love of its mother. It could be the difference between death and survival, you know what I mean? So, like, we know how these things are constructed. But I think all of the hard stuff, maybe all of the grief that was associated with that, is something that you have worked through over the last 18 months. And I think that you're ready to start moving. Like I said, you're not rushing this, but the work here feels significant, and you feel like you're in a position where you are able to start actioning from it. So tell me what Capricorn might be a little stuck on right now. So I had a funny feeling that the Tower was going to come out, So we have the Tower. We have the Five of Swords. Und wir haben the Death card. Well, yes, of course. Four of Swords at the bottom of the deck. You don't really do things by halves, Capricorn. I mean, like, you know how I said it wasn't really a Tower-like reorientation? Well, it seems like the Tower-like reorientation is part of the Leo season experience for you. And again, if you are a Capricorn ascendant, that solar eclipse in Leo is going to be happening in your 8th house at the same time as the South Node is running through the 8th house, at the same time as Jupiter is running through the 8th house, and I think Mercury's not far off joining in there as well. And every single one of these being opposed at some point by Pluto in the next 18 months. Like, hard Pluto transits are often the sort of thing that give people the willies, right? To use an English phrase, like they can be quite frightening. But I speak from personal experience, and I think if you think back, Capricorn, you probably also have an example of this somewhere in your life. There's a point where when Pluto's finished kicking everything away, he actually starts to help you rebuild in a way that makes you feel much more powerful. So at the point where Pluto was crossing the exact degrees of my ascendant, I spent a year winning the most gold for the club in its history. Like, in that year, I won all the gold. Well, I don't know about in its history, but certainly in that year, I brought home the most gold for the club. Why? Because I'd put in a fuck ton of effort on the run up to that. The 18 months beforehand, getting good, training, sacrificing other things in favor of something that was that I wanted, right? So, I mean, Pluto did lots of things, and honestly, it was a bit of a nightmare at times. I'm sure I don't have to explain to you, Capricorn. But there was a point when Pluto left Capricorn where I was like, do you want to come back? Just quick visit. Like, I would like to feel powerful again. I'm not sure that I do anymore. So here's the thing, right? The 8th house is ruled natively by Scorpio, and it is the home of Pluto. We have here a card that is directly associated with Scorpio, death, and one that is tangentially associated with Scorpio because Mars and Scorpio and Aries have both been rulers of Mars. The difference is that Mars, as an Aries-pilled energy, goes out and hacks and chops and slays. Mars in Scorpio mode is much more about moving quietly, moving strategically, moving through the dark. And so I feel like there is, regardless of whether you are a Capricorn ascendant or whether I don't know, you're a 10th house Capricorn sun or whatever, the qualities of sudden shifts and sudden reinventions, transformations are all over this reading right now. I mean, fuck me, Capricorn. Like Wheel of Fortune, Tower, Death, and the Star in the same fucking reading. And I'm even going to put the Devil in here as well because it's your card, right? The shift, the change in your identity, the change in the way that you show up, the change in how you embody and express yourself out here in the world, being fundamentally overhauled as it has been. And this feels like it's the thing that you've been building up to, the thing that you've been training for to some extent. You'll notice that even with all of this big major arcana energy, there's actually something quite restful about the energy of the way that you are showing up here. Four of Swords is about integrating the truths that we learned in the three. Sometimes it's about taking a break, taking a step back for sure. But I think during your break, your step back from engaging with life in the way that you would usually have done it, or certainly have done it in the in the last few decades, there's a new kind of system of value that has developed within you, and not before time, I think. So when it comes to the question of how you embody your way through what is sticky, this is interesting because I think we have to change somewhat the lens through which we're looking at this. The stickiness, whatever it is, and we might say, is just a bit of residue of the older version of you, which is to say, Capricorn 1.0 or 2.0, certainly a few 0.0s lower than what you're currently running. Where there's a bit of residue left around the things that we've talked about tried and true methods of doing things, and notions of success and status, and where your true value lies. This is a Venus card here. It's Venus and Aquarius. But it shows that there is still a little bit of instability around that. But I think the purpose of the Star and the Wheel of Fortune and the Tower and the Death card is actually somewhat of a pat on the back to say, by the way, Capricorn, did you know you're actually on the right path, and you have been for some time, even though you've really been struggling. You've been struggling in the right direction the whole time. One would expect no less from a Capricorn, right? Tell me about this Five of Swords, please. But to some extent, fuck off. Goodness, look at that. The Tower again, and the Hermit. To some extent, I would say that the only thing that, and this is the stickiness, the only thing that the universe is actually asking of you is to not interfere with the process, not try and control anything. It's actually asking you to flow with this rather than trying to control how this plays out. Why do I say that? Because Scorpio is known as a controlling sign. Virgo is known as a controlling sign. Aries is known as a controlling sign. And Capricorn, you are also known as a controlling sign, right? It's just how it happens, right? But the best expression of these energies that are all here on the table is where there is a non-interference process that you choose to engage with, right? There's nothing actually here that is a cause for concern. It's like, Capricorn, are you finished wandering around in the wilderness now? because all sorts of things that have changed in your head are now the necessary preconditions for the next lurch forwards in your story. Are you ready for that? A bit of you says no. A bit of you says, no, I like being cautious. I like being, I feel more comfortable being tentative about the steps that I'm taking forward here at the moment. And yet, the course correction that is the Tower, and we might say the reorientation, because I feel like it's more like that than something horrible and shocking happening for you. I mean, the Wheel of Fortune, the very first card out, and then the Star, they're all speaking to less jarring reorientation experiences than one would usually expect. And the Tower is not always felt as a uniformly bad energy. I mean, it is just that energy of surprise. And for a lot of you, right, winning the lottery would be as much of a surprise as, I don't know, accidentally reversing over your cat or something, right? Like, horrible. The Tower isn't always job losses. Oh my God, my kitchen flooded, or my house fell down, or, things like that. It is simply a course correction that starts putting you on a different trajectory. And sometimes it's got to kick stuff over. But I do think that you've experienced quite a lot of kicking stuff over, or stuff being kicked over at you over the last 18 months. And so what is left is just ready for that last stage of transforming, I think, because the Death card's here. I mean, the reason that I was pointing out there was so much Scorpio on the table is that that transformative energy of Scorpio that creates space. This is why Scorpio rules over the decay and all these kind of things, because ultimately we need that to happen to create space for the new things. Can you imagine if every single fucking blade of grass that had ever existed didn't rot down? Like, I don't even know what that would look like, right? But it would be mental. If every insect that had ever lived on planet Earth did not decay, we'd have a mat like hundreds of miles deep that was just insects, right? It's a necessary part of the cycle. So something is taken away and something new comes in its place. Something rots down, it creates the perfect conditions for it, puts its nutrients back into the substrate, and then something new develops. This is where you are, Capricorn. And so whatever Tower, reorientation, course correction shows up this month, like, the message is just to flow with it. Like I said, the residue of kind of wanting to control it is definitely going to be there, but it's going to be a test of your resolve. Like, how much have you learned during this time? And are you ready to put your money where your mouth is? I think yes. Because that Four of Swords at the bottom of the deck, that's like... it's kind of mentally peaceful about what's happening. Aside from that Five of Swords and the Hermit, obviously. There's almost like an inevitability about it. One that you didn't really dare to hope for, because this has all taken quite a long time, right, to get to this point. And nevertheless, it's here, and you can feel it's not too far away, and you're like, right, okay. So the thing is here is simply to flow. What is Capricorn's next step, please? Right, Four of Pentacles in reverse. I mean, yeah, we're just doubling down on the message that's already been given, for sure. But, let's see. I think was the Ace of Swords. Let's have a look. It is indeed the Ace of Swords. Last card for Capricorn, please. Next step, Page of Wands and the Three of Wands. It's interesting because You might think that the Page of Wands and the Three of Wands were sort of running counter to each other there, where they were kind of heading in different directions. Page of Wands on its side and the Three of Wands in the upright. But I don't think that that is it. I think what the Page of Wands is telling you is that this is a journey that you actually cannot prepare for. Or, to put it more accurately, the universe has prepared you as hard as it possibly can for what comes next, but you're still not going to see it. Why? Because there is the ambush quality of the Tower about this, not necessarily in a bad way, probably all things said and done in a good way. So I wouldn't lose any brain power in trying to work out, what incredible lurch in a new direction you're going to be taking. The message is just start to walk. Like when that energy hits, just move in the direction that it's nudging you, because that will be the right direction, right? But also recognize the importance of leaving behind what you have built, right? The Four of Pentacles is a card of release. It's a card of recognizing that the things that you chained yourself to, they're no good for you now. I think you've been on a long process of that for a while anyway, Capricorn, at least 18 months. It might have been pretty tough, maybe exceptionally rough in places, but the extent to which the new things can come in is directly proportional to the amount of stuff that you jettison out. And when it comes to internal stuff, that's where this all starts, because this Ace of Swords here, like I said, you can't keep a Capricorn down for too long. You can certainly have them feeling pretty melancholic and put upon, and all the sort of things that everybody feels when Saturn is doing something to them. But eventually you end up coming up with a whole new way of seeing things. And this is the thing to lean into. I would say between that Four of Pentacles and the Page of Pentacles, that anything that has come before, any way of doing anything before, is really to be put in the bin marked experience, and not relied on from this point on, because everything that is new in the way that you see the world and the way that you understand yourself and all that sort of stuff, right? This is the new cycle. This is the thing that is given to you. This is the blessing. And it's been slowly developing over time, 18 months or so, right? But it's right fucking here now. It's right on the doorstep. Just want to point out, we've got the Knight of Wands in the clarifying deck here as well. And I feel like that is a now indicator. Whenever you see the Knight of Wands show up, he is always a we are going to have to, either pivot really hard very, very quickly, or we are going to have to take off from a standing start and hit the ground running. And that seems to be what Leo season is for you here. Now, that King of Wands that we saw initially, I think he's the patience that you've been demonstrating around action. That's been going on for a little while, but the time really is now. It's coming now. Don't try and brace yourself for it. Definitely don't resist it. Don't try and control it, Capricorn. This is one of those moments where you can sort of let go of the riverbank and just let the flow of the energy take you. I would seriously, like, Jesus hold the wheel until the end of August. That's the quality of the energies that seems to be coming for you right now. And I think it's time. I think you're ready for it, Capricorn. I'm actually excited to see what direction this is taking you all in. Very interesting indeed. Right, I'm going to leave it here. I'm going to go to the extended. If you would like to join me over there, you're very welcome to do so. Like I said at the beginning, you can either do that on Selfie or you can do that on Circle. I would be delighted to see you in either place. Yeah, if that's not for you, that's absolutely fine. But this is a lot. This is a lot, Capricorn. I'm looking forward to regrouping with you and seeing you for Virgo season to see what the fuck has gone down here, because this looks really cool. Anyway, know that I love you all very, very much, and I'll see you soon.